Howdy folks, Doc here with Last Best Tool. And if you know anything about the channel, you know I like pry bars, especially pocket pry bars. So I was excited to see that Olsa Tools was coming out with their own set of pocket pry bars. There's always room for more innovation here. And they have three different sizes here. They are straight, which is kind of like a screwdriver, a 27 degree and a 55 degree bend. Now these are a 5-inch length. And they are made in India, and India is a new location for pry bars as far as I'm concerned, and Olsa Tools is a Canadian company, so its ability to ship in different places may differ from some of the usual tools that I highlight, and part number is 1808. Now, I have done some recent pry bar videos, including this one on this Titan right here. This was similar but smaller to this snap-on here. This snap-on was actually a square shaft screwdriver that I turned into a pry bar based on what I could discover about the actual bend. I drilled it out, put a magnet on it. There's a video on this, but this seemed to be about the ideal size for a pocket pry bar for me. There were others. Snap-on came out with one in the after I built that one, which I really like. Good solid design. They're using a round shaft here. Lyle has quite a few different ones, including these two here, which has a small shaft and a super beefy shaft. Now it almost, this is like 1/4-inch stock, square stock. This is amazing. It has a striking cap, so you can really put a lot into it, but it is also a tiny little pry bar. So yeah, just how much can you put into the thing versus a super kind of a fine tool here. There are others. Tecton has also got a set of solid pry bars. These are a lot thicker. In fact, let's take a closer look at the stock diameter. This is 6.3 millimeters on this Tecton here, which is also a USA made one. Go to another USA made right here with the snap-on, and we're going to drop down to about 4 3/4. If we go to the Olsa, we bump up just a little bit to roughly 5 millimeters here. So it's a little bit beefier than the snap-on, but by not much. And then about a millimeter, almost 1.5 millimeters less than the Tecton. The handle, the shaft extends quite a ways into the handle. The way I try to measure that has to do with sliding magnets until they fall off. So I'm getting a point about right here, or 3/4 of the way through this handle is how far the shaft extends up into it. If I go to something like the snap-on here and start sliding that over, I get about 2/3 of the way through before it pops off. Now you can't really generate that much force with a tiny little handle here unless you put a cheater bar or something on, so it's not a big deal. But something to be aware of, because I'm sure there are some unscrupulous overseas companies that just jam in a little bit of shaft and then call it good. Anyway, the pocket clip, the handle, the shaft diameter, the angle, all of those things do add to the variability in design for these pocket pry bars, but I thought I'd point out the Olsa Tool version, because if you don't have one of these, you're kind of missing out of all the things. A lot of times we just grab a standard slotted screwdriver, and in fact I did here, but I've also made other slotted screwdrivers into pry bars because I may have used them more than slotted screwdrivers, since those are becoming pretty rare. One of the other things I noticed is you're using pocket pry bar, the location of the pocket clip can make a difference. Hanging on, this just fits into the hand. It doesn't really do anything. But if it goes in your pocket, some of them, like the snap-on, imagine you're sliding this down into fabric to hold this on. Maybe this is pointing towards the outside of the pocket like a pen would. Well, then this little sharp piece here is pointing towards the fabric. Now, others have turned that sideways. You see the difference there? Let me grab, I guess that's got a bend in it, you can see. But anyway, so what the sideways pocket clip does is it keeps this from intersecting the fabric in a way that'll tear it, either pointed towards you or pointed out. The snap-on points out, but like I said, I don't really use these, and in fact a lot of times I bend them and then remove them, or just remove them and avoid the middleman. But anyway, there they are, the Olsa Tool Pocket Pry Bars. And with that, Doc out.